move forward. So with that, I think I'll go back to the listening mode. I wish to hear more views from other people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And for those that are on the listener mode and you're struggling, I've been informed there's a lot of challenges hearing us. I'll try to refresh. If someone can write to us and let us know if it's any better now, because it looks like there is an issue. Uh, um, Mtai, do you have something? You probably had a question. Go ahead.
Uh, yes, yes, Justin. There's something interesting that Eddie mentioned, and I thought that perhaps you could say, tell me
Yeah.
something about it. He said that the structures for democracy are not working. And yesterday, Raila Odinga said that at the national level, during the conclave, perhaps you could involve the civil societies. And what caught my ear is the fact that he mentioned the members of parliament being a part of it. Isn't it enough that the members of parliament already have a parliament to discuss the issues? Why do they need a conclave to come and, discuss with us the issues? Can you maybe comment on that?
That's a good point. Um, it affects it. Do you? It affects a comment on it or myself? I can bring in someone else.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
just did.
Okay. Yeah. If you want to me to comment on it, then the moment you start bringing in the members of parliament, then you are simply going against the same constitution that you said the sovereign power belongs to the people and can be exercised directly or indirect delegated. So if you are going to bring in, you already delegated, and those people you delegated to have failed, and then you start coming into this situation where you are recommending a dialogue or a conclave where people are going to exercise it directly, then the people you delegated to and fail should not come in, because that's already been written off. So to agree with you 100% on this is that that's a contradiction by itself, based on that his interpretation of chapter 1 of the constitution. So my opinion is that once these people come together, if it ever gets there, and they agree to have this dialogue without going through the elected people, then they should not be allowed even at the national level to come in, because now we are going to have a new pathway on how we want to be governed. And we are going to dictate this, how we're going to do this, how we're going to do our elections, we're going to stagger our elections. We have to decide. We have to come up with our own framework. And framework will even include by having that transitional council that is going to help us move forward. So yeah, that's a contradiction by itself, because then it doesn't capture the spirit of what people want to see happen. We are done with the parliament. We are done with whether it's the current government as it's constituted. So people want to exercise their power directly. I don't know if that responds to your question. Yeah. And then okay. So I'm probably gonna bring in Mheshimiwa Josephine, and then Wanda will come in after that as we proceed. And thank you very much for being here. If you can share the space, invite somebody. I want us to have this conversation. There's a lot to cover, and some of them include, some of these statements that are leaking. But I think Anthony left, and I really wanted to clarify to him that I've gone back and checked the Jeremiah Kioni statement. He did not deny that Uhuru called Raila. He did not deny that Uhuru called Raila. What he said is that it's not Uhuru who made Raila's party and or Raila to join the broad base. Those are two different issues, and I think it needs to be understood in that context. So I just wanted to get that information clear to Anthony, so that there's no contradiction on the statement that we were addressing earlier. Mheshimiwa Josephine, karibu sana.
Thank you, Justice. And Mutai, thank you for hosting, and all the panelists, thank you so for your speech. And all the listeners as well, we really appreciate you, because when you are in the space, when you are not in the space, we cannot speak, because we cannot speak to ourselves. But when we are all together, we speak, and it makes a difference. Yes, and the question is whether we have any question for Raila after having watched the interview. And for me, as you've known me, many times I've said this, and I'm repeating the same again. Personally, I don't have anything to ask Raila, because whatever Raila does, he does as per his decision, and that's his own personal decision. However, the Kenyans, we've decided never to decide to think, understand, and say this, despite he has said that this is his principles. We always want to carry him in our bags and in our shoulders. Even when he disappoints us, we still carry him. Fellow Kenyans, I think, personally, Raila, whatever he's saying and whatever he's discussing, and even the meetings that he's calling for, the truth is, he's only trying to prove that I am in control. Because of the ego, he cannot accept that he has lost. And actually, he has even lost his popularity. And for that reason, he cannot also accept that or acknowledge that he betrayed the Kenyans by joining the government. And for that reason, he has to keep on telling us, I am in control. Because what happens is that any person, the moment they rely on so much lies and they give a lot of lies, eventually, and what they're trying now to balance whatever they believe, and now whatever you are confronting them as a fact, telling them this is the fact, they will never buy that. If at all anything, they will actually try to moderate it and make it look parallel from whatever you are saying. And they will even tell you have overreacted on this, despite that this is the ideal fact. So, fellow Kenyans, I think it's good to discuss about the interview and whatever came out of Raila. However, Raila is not on contest, because by the end of the day, Raila forever said, now I think he's 82. We just need to allow this old man to rest and continue just playing his games, because what he's doing right now, even if he were to say anything, he's not using his own mind. He's only trying to make you feel good and feel that he has spoken and he has said something, even if he doesn't mean what he's saying. And for sure, for him even to tell you that I'll be supporting Ruto in 2027, it's ironical, because the truth is, you can even read the mood, even as time goes. He's trying to remain relevant so that he can appear like he's in control, the way Anton was just saying. But the truth is, Raila has lost control, and we don't even need to deliberate about him. If we don't want to lose our focus on the interest of what we are for the nation and what we are chasing, by the end of the day, Raila is just like another dog barking on the door, and now we want to start throwing stones at him. It will not help us. Can we keep on the focus? Can we watch on what we want? What are we looking for? What are we focused on? And what's our end goal and our end result? Right now, if we would be thinking about actually ensuring that we mobilize as many people as possible, for the Gen Zs who do not have IDs, for them to get IDs, and then we start also pushing for registration as to become registered voters. Then from there, now we should be focusing on also kicking Ruto out, not waiting for 2027. We should kick Ruto out before 2027. I thought we would be discussing about that Prado in Machakos and the 20 million again in Machakos. I think that would be a good thing if we would discuss about that. It's okay. I really appreciate that we feel it's a good topic to discuss. But Raila right now, he has lived his life. He has done what he could have done for this country. Any other decision that he makes, either it being right or wrong, Raila will remain to be right, because as by his age right now, he cannot make any great change in our nation. And that's what I would wish to submit. Kindly, let's not lose the focus or lose ourselves trying to put Raila in the topic while he cannot help us much right now. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to stay on there because I'm gonna address something with you on this. I keep clarifying this for everybody that is joining. Raila is not our topic for today. I want to be clear, and I've said it 10 times, and I will repeat it again. What we are addressing are some key issues that came up in the interview that he had, which cannot be ignored. And one among them is the issue of what does he think? And of course, let's talk about them. Needs to happen with the IEBC in terms, and of course, he talked about the restoring the confidence, the trust, and all that, registration of the voters, cleaning up the register. and of course the IDs, and we shouldn't even be talking about voter cards and stuff like that, which I think they are no longer in use. So in that regard, Josephine, before Owanda comes in, then what is the strategy in place for the citizens to participate in the cleanup of the voter register? Because I think we are relying on the same secretary that has been there in place, and of course with the the now commission being there, but the secretary is going to be doing the same thing they've been doing. And do we believe and trust that these people are going to give us a clean voter register as things look at this time? Okay, that's not even a fair question. And what should we do to make sure that we have a clean voter register? Josephine, before I go to
Thank you very much. Basically, right now, or what has been happening in the previous years, IEBC has been doing the cleaning of the voter register, and then it is shared in the public domain for people to see. So that if there's anybody and this person is dead and is still in the register, you can raise queries. That's what has happened. Right now, we do not know which criteria they will carry out. But our key thing here is not even the register, because the truth is we cannot claim that we have around 1 million dead people in the country right now. Even since the previous election to up to the next election. What we need is to have all the Gen Zs registered as registered voters and in the right places where they are sure they will vote from there. That's the only way we shall knock this government down and down. Because I'm looking forward to see it coming up the way it happened in 2002, whereby actually the margin which actually the election was won was so huge that even Moi having all the powers and all authorities, he just raised up his hands and surrendered, and they said we cannot do anything about it. And that's what I'm looking at. If we have as many youths as possible registered, I think we have around 11 million youths who are not registered. Once we get them registered, then we are good to go. Let Ruto do whatever he thinks he can do,
right.
but I can assure you he's not going to win.
What I need is, and of course, and I believe you being in that arena, what has come up, including what John Band said, probably I think maybe yesterday or the day before, and what probably has been in the public domain is that successful governments have been suppressing even issuance of IDs, sometimes even voter registration into, especially to territories that they find that they are more hostile to the government. Now, we have seen cases where, and the case in point is the one for Samburu, where Kipchumba Murkomen is talking about the 92,000 registered citizens who don't have IDs. I don't know what that phrase means. And then he's sending the chiefs and sub-chiefs to go and look for them to come and get the IDs. Now, we are dealing with real issues affecting real people. What mechanisms can be in place, or can we propose to ensure that there's fair and make sure there's maximum registration of persons when it comes to getting the IDs for those that have attained the age? Is there anything practically different that can be done other than still relying on the government of the day? Is there anything that can be done?
Basically,
And then I'll bring Rwanda.
Thank you very much, Justice. Basically, actually, that is the same government which is supposed to register these citizens and give them IDs. So our role right now is pushing to see as many are arrived as possible for issuing IDs to the people. And when we don't see that, we push the government and make them know that we need registration to take place and we need people to be issued with IDs. Otherwise, it's the only government who's supposed to do that. But otherwise, once we keep on relying on what Kina Kipchumba, Kina Oscar Sud are telling us, they are trying to distract us from the main agenda. So that by the time we wake up,
but the Murkomen is the government. You're saying we tell the government, no, Josephine, get me right here. You're saying we should tell the government instead of relying to Kipchumba is the government. It's actually the minister for Interior that is in charge of that registration. Do we need to? Is there an audit system that can be generated? Is there something? I want you to think through that, because I have another question. If you are not leaving right away, I have another question for you later. Let me bring in Mwalimu Wanda. I'll bring you on that. What I think, I had your hand up. I had your hand up, and I want you to submit on that. But I also want us to really look into this issue of our discussion today, that it is not about Raila, it's about the contents of that interview and the issues that came up, which have far-reaching implications when it comes to our civic duty, our next elections, and all that. And that's probably how I want us people to interpret this, so that it doesn't look like I'm here to defend Baba. You see, even my co-host Mutai ended up changing. I'd said, "Do you still have questions for Baba?" They had to change the name from Baba to Raila. It's okay. Wanda, come in.
Justice, hatuwezi raise your hand, sijui mbona. We cannot raise hand to you, sijui mbona.
Okay, go ahead. Tommy, did you want
to? Thank you so much.
Okay, after that, Tommy will come in. Okay. Sorry, Tommy. After Wanda, proceed.
Okay, thank you thank you so much. And I like how you're putting it, that the moment we narrow down the discussion to discuss an individual, then we end up losing it. For instance, I look into his argument and his logic in feeling like if a Nadco report was implemented, maybe the Gen Zs would not have rioted or protested. And to me, I'll say it is true. It's only that we are not looking at things analytically. Instead, we are discussing an individual. I want us to look into one of what Nadco reports ended up proposing in the name of the cost of living and ensuring the economic sustainability of the individuals or the citizens. According to the Nadco report, it was proposed that at least 50%, at least a 50% reduction in the travel budgets for all arms of government. Then I want you to look into how many times we have had people complaining and even terming the president as Ule President Wachopa. They even ended up, or at some point, even ended up feeling like he's not a Kenyan president, but a tourist or a visit at some point. And part of it economically, that 30% was to be cut in the daily allowances for the state officers. Then we had the fuel levies being reduced. Look at the last part in this section. They talk of the housing levy, in the sense that, I mean, they were against the housing levy or the VAT on the fuel, but instead to have different alternatives being presented in addressing the housing levy plus the VAT on fuel. Therefore, if you look into those reports without looking into who is saying this, then chances are we may end up looking at it and analyze, is it actually true that if specifics were introduced or implemented, we wouldn't have had the challenges that we are facing and actually faced in 2024. Still looking into the IEBC as a body that deals with elections, then a person telling you or telling us that we need to ask it questions, we need to ask these team questions and be convinced. Let them convince us that they can actually conduct a free, fair elections. Then look into at some point what was said in a meeting that we had SK Masharia in this meeting with Raila, a team of persons asking him to back the Gachagua team. Then some persons presenting and saying, we told you that we have been winning elections, or we wouldn't have won the elections because the register is not clean. Therefore, look at this. If we are asking IEBC questions insofar as how are you guys going to clean up the register so that we are so sure that the register is clean? To me, if we look at it and approach it from a point of not who is saying this, but what is being said, then we'll end up getting it right. Now, still looking into, I've listened to the Honorable submitting. I wish you well, but I disagree with you on a number of things. We cannot be talking about people registering, getting the IDs, and we have not addressed the fact that the register is not clean. If I'm told the register is not clean, if I'm told there is a manipulation of a register, then there is a motive behind manipulation of the register. If you don't address the manipulation of the register, then even if you register in numbers and have so many people with the IDs and actually registering as voters, you have not addressed the ill motive behind the register not being clean. So if my motive behind the register not being clean goes on to ensure that I will always have a 50% plus one votes because of the register, the way I want it to look, I need to register in millions. My 50% plus one votes will still stand. So the question to me is, before you even ask persons to go and register as voters, and I'm not saying people should not register as voters, but my concern here is whoever is ensuring that the register is not clean is doing it with an intention of ensuring that 50% plus one will always be in their favor. So even if you register and have not addressed my mindset of ensuring I have 50% plus one vote, then what you're doing will never bear the fruits that you want. Therefore, I'll propose a case of, let us find a formula of how do we ensure the register is clean. Number two, how do we speed up the process of speed up the process in the register of persons in ensuring that so many people now registers Kenyans and have the national ID cards. That one, clean the register. Two, speed up, figure out how do you speed up the identification, the process of people getting the ID cards. Two or three, speed up the process of ensuring that people are registered as voters and civic education is conducted, and every person is now able to vote based on ideologies, not based on individuals, not based on tribes, and actually the government is ensured, or the government has assured the country that will not have people only able to campaign in a certain quarter and not the other quarter. Justice.
Yeah, thank you for that. And again, at some point, we'll have to, of course, try to come to terms that the issues of IDs. Obviously, that's the work of the government. I believe it's the Minister of Interior. Registration of voters is the independent commission. That's IEBC. The audits were done the last time. Tommy, as you come in, I know KPMG flagged about 1.18 million. Some cleanup was done. People were rushing, never did it in the right way. I mean, there's a lot surrounding that register that we can talk about. But Tommy, and then Josephine's hand is up. Japonj is here too. So, Tommy, go ahead, please.
Thank you, sir, very much. I just have very few questions. But as I got with the question
Sure.
after watching the interview, if you have any question with Raila, I just have a small question on Raila. Because after his first few words, he watched the servers and he had questions on the servers. But after the servers, he decided to join the government. Why didn't he decide to tell us what owns on the server? Najua, when we voted for Raila, we didn't voted for ODM or any other thing. I personally voted for Raila as individual, knowing that there are changes Raila personally as an individual can make changes in this country. So why did he has to join the government bila kutuambia, ama he just wanted for his own benefit? That was my question to His Excellency Raila. I've been voting for Raila for a couple of years, like 2-3 times. So Mr. Odinga, please, mi nimekuvotia for a couple of years. Kama unanisikiza, kama uko kwa hii space, ama kama kuna mtu kwa hii space, mi baba nimekuvotia for 3 times, na wewe ukaamua kujoin government na uliangalia server. Mbona utaki kutuambia what was on the server? Because tuliandamana na watu, more than 70 people died kwa maandamano yako on 2022, na hujatuambia nini ilikuwa server. Kwa sababu umetuambia first 3, 4, 5 words, umetuambia you watch the server na ukajua what was in server, but hujafungua mdomo wako kutuambia what was in server. Umenyamazia. If everyone watched the interview, Raila spoke very categorically. He watched the server ifunguliwe na akajua what was in the server, na hataki kutuambia what was there inside. So I'm asking Honorable Raila Odinga, if you're listening to me, mtu wako wa damu wa kukupigia kura miaka yote hiyo, ni nini iko kwa server?
Thank you. Maybe after Honorable Japonj can tell us.
Justice, I wanted to chip in. There
Sure.
was a speaker who was asking about how Raila, I think Leo, the co-host, she was asking how exactly was Baba meant to save Kenya when he said that was that the question, if I'm not wrong?
I think it was
Like,
Mutai who asked. Mutai asked that question.
Yes. So personally, what I think is, when Gen Z went on the streets and the military were also out there, there were like some options on the table. The first option was if Ruto were to resign that day, then we could have had like Rigathi Gachagua. And I think to someone like Raila and a lot of Kenyans, they were like, no, Rigathi is a no-go zone. So that is one of, I think this is my personal opinion. So I think that is one of the reasons. The other reason is, if you look at the military, he was not sure if the military can stand together because there is some division in terms of tribe and all that. And maybe anarchy would come in or will return into Somalia and all that. So, and the other point is, I think the status quo, people like Uhuru were scared, of losing the status quo, and the benefits. So they are like, they are okay with the system because they are benefiting from the system. Because if things were to be reset, we know what would happen. Most of them would lose. For example, if we were to put that TGRC, Ndongo land report and all that, if we were to implement those, most of them would remain, like hustlers, So I think that is my thought. So in that sense, so Baba seems to be like he was saving Kenya from all that. Thank you, Justice.
Yeah, a good thought. And then before Justin comes in, you want to take a stab at what is being asked, that why is this server not being opened? And is there a process? Because I know the one of the work that the IEBC is supposed to do is to audit the previous elections. I think it's part of the requirements. So in this kind of audit, how can we legally get access to that server if there was a case like that? What's your point?
I'm so sorry, Justice. I didn't get the question right. Please summarize the question. Sorry.
IEBC is required to do an audit of the previous elections. And one of the questions that Tommy asked is, Raila had told his supporters that they have had access to information in the server and they knew that they won, but the server could not be open legally for people to access it and all that. So is there a way that the citizens can demand outside of Raila and other places where citizens can demand to have access to the server or for the
Yeah,
server
yeah,
to
yeah.
be open.
I think Justice. I think the same question was someone responded to the same question last week here by saying that if you take the elements or details of the server to a court of law, which means you obtained those elements or the material illegally. So you are a hacker. You had to hack through the system to find those material. So it cannot be used in a court of law as it is not admissible in court of law. I think that is, but I think it was shared. Details of the server for the 2022 election at some point they were leaked. But also, just as you have to ask yourself, do you trust that message or the person who is, uh, giving you that message, the messenger or the message. So those are two different points also. Because justice, you cannot come to my house, go through my house without a warrant, take out something, and then go and claim that you found that in my house. So it doesn't work like that. I don't know, but that is, I think someone responded like that in this house. Some legal expert. Thank you.
Thank you. I bring in Mheshimiwa Josephine.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Loud
Very
and
well.
clear.
Proceed.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to try to talk to all of us, and we also need to ask ourselves, in which direction do we want to move to? Because one thing is that you cannot go and buy a padlock to lock a house that is not in existence, or to lock a house which the door is already broken. And now, if you would only go and buy a padlock before having an house, then what are you going to lock? Why am I saying this? I beg to differ with Wanda when he says that we don't need to tell people to get registered as registered as voters as we wait for the register to be cleaned. Because in all the years, it does happen. There is always a cleanup by the IEBC. It's only that now we have a new chair whom we don't know how he's going to work. But now, as he does the cleaning, actually we should be expecting first they do the registration. After the registration of new members, now they start weeding who is dead, who is not supposed to be in the voters register, then it's put in the public domain. On the other hand, Justice, you had asked me about whether we can have any other way on how to protect the election. And the truth is, anything that has to be done within the election, within the Independent Election and Boundaries Commission is very clear. Anything that has to take a change, it has to take an effect 2 years prior the election. So, and anything that has to be changed, it has to go to the parliament to be changed or maybe be brought to the public so that we can make new laws so that we can change. Right now, we have only 2 years left to election. In the case there is anything that would be amended in the election and boundaries laws, then that means we actually adjourn the election not taking place in 2027. Because again, it has to go through the parliament for them to certify that and then to pass it so that it becomes a law so that it can be used in the election. We should always remember in Kenya, we are governed by the constitution. We just don't wake up and make a law. So all the laws that which are supposed to be effected, they have to be passed through the parliament. And if there's any change of the law, it has to be done through the parliament again. So that's why I'm finding it so difficult.
Josephine, I get your point. I'm not even asking for any change of law or anything. I'm asking within the existing law and the way we are talking about registration, suppression of voter issuance and the registration. Is there any mechanism, is anything that the citizens can do within their power to ensure that what the government has tried to do in the past to suppress the voter registration, issues of IDs and stuff like that is being prohibited? Because we keep saying, let's mobilize, but we know the tactics the government has used in the past. What can we practically do to ensure that this thing does not happen in these coming elections? Within the current law, I don't want us to change. I'm not even asking for us to change anything.
The only thing that needs to be done is the IEBC one. Is it well funded? If it's well funded, then we only now need to push them so that they meet the mandate and our expectations, so that they meet the timeline which is given by the Constitution. And that's the best thing we can do. We want to hear them moving very fast, announcing that when they are starting to register people as voters. And also we need to see it running concurrently with the ID, issuing of the IDs. Because if that would run concurrently, then we'll have killed one bird with two birds with one stone. If they can run concurrently. Yeah.
Justice, can I ask Josephine a question? Joseph, is it Joseph? Josephine, I have a question for you. Okay, there is this death registry, okay, from the Interior Ministry, okay. That is the Birth and Death Register Act, Chapter 149 of the Kenyan Constitution. And this one is with the government. They have the monopoly of the register and the list. So, do you think, since we don't have the audited report and they don't show us to the public as mandated, do you think they can use this list, to make sure that dead voters do vote? Or how do you think we should go about it, you as Josephine? Thank you.
Thank you. This is what I want to remind you guys. Let's take it let's think about it like we should not look at the negative so much, because if we start thinking about the government is the custodian of all the documentaries in the country. That's one thing we need to remember. And the government is the custodian. What is the next thing? We only look forward to see that after realizing
I'm losing Josephine.
After realizing that the government has given the authority, now the IEBC is the one to tell us we are not able to win the voters register because the government has not added the register for the death and the death and births in this country. That's the only way we can win out, but we cannot say that we will wait until we win out, because it's the IEBC to give us feedback and tell us we were supposed to print the voters register, but the government has declined to issue us with that documentary. If the IEBC tells us that, then now we can take it head on collision. But as at now, we cannot jump the fire before even it's set.
They actually have. I'll let Mutai come in. Hang on a second. Order. I just wanted to bring it to Josephine attention that the IBC told us that, and I did read the ELOG report after KPMG issued their report towards the last elections, and also what the other independent observers came in, and they want to raise the specific question that you guys are addressing about the deaths, and this is because some of it the government did actually have it, because some deaths were never reported. Remember, there were 5 things about it. Deaths were never reported, and IDs were never returned. Once someone passes, IDs were never returned, and there were several other things. So these reports have been there. And the other reason that Chipukati's team gave is that it was too late to even do an actual cleanup. So these are reported. There's already a report out there. What I'm seeking is there anybody doing anything with that report? That's probably what I'm asking. So I'm asking too much of these questions. But I appreciate just the report that indeed all these things can run concurrently. And we need, or did you send me a report or something? Okay, Japonja, I thought. Yeah, so I want us to, Mutai, you had your hand up. I think Iona would be the right person to say something about it. And then you can bring in Hannah and Dorito. And then, of course, Tommy can also make a comment on that. But I appreciate Josephine's perspectives. I want you guys to pay attention to those because they are related to what IBs can do. How do we hold them accountable? How do they give us periodical updates? What they stack and what we can do? Thank you very much. Mutai.
Thank you, Justice. Personally, I do not believe that we can do anything when it comes to the voter register. Yes, of course, we being the people who want to bring change in the next election, what we can only do is let us go the polling station. Okay, I know that I should be calling integrity into the process, and how we can assert this integrity is that each and every polling station, it's more like a community. It is more of people who know themselves. So let them bring us the register that they do have right now. Let them publish every polling station's register. Let our people go to this polling station and mark their names. I feel that that process is more simple. Now, the only issue will come in where we have ghost polling stations, where we have ghost people, and now we won't be able to influence anything when it comes to that. I myself believe that it is okay for people with ID cards to just go and vote because they have an ID, which I'm very much okay with that. But now, the question of the issuance of ID cards to people who are not even citizens of Kenya becomes the problem. If we have someone, say, who just came in from the border yesterday and is given the ID card, hata hajui kuongea Kiswahili, you know, and then we want this same person to go and vote, the same person that doesn't even pay taxes to the government because the kind of work that they do does not fall into any uh, tax bracket or is not being taxed. And the people now who are being taxed are the people who go to the polling station to vote, but their kind of voting is unable to make any change or make any influence because there are other factors at play. Anyway, the whole thing about the voter register, I think it's more of a conundrum, given that we have very many parties at play. We have the citizens who are interested, we have the political elites who are interested, and we have foreign entities who are actually also interested. Have we forgotten that even when it came to voter verification, we had the smartmatic people from Venezuela, and people who have actually had international outcry wherever they've conducted the election. I don't know how this can be done, but myself, I do believe that we can start from the polling stations in itself. Let these people bring in the list from for each and every polling station. Myself, it's a primary school over there. I will go just like we normally do during the, what do you call this thing, the 2009-2019 census. Yeah, people went home, they were given a break to go. So let them give us a 1 week break. Let us enjoy the holiday. Let us go and see whether our names are in the register. And for those people, we obviously know our neighbors who are dead and are still in the register. So we'll know how to weed them out, simple. You asked me to welcome Diritu. Diritu, good evening.
Good evening to you.
How are you?
Hi
How are you?
Risasi, nimeona Risasi yuko hapo. That is my friend.
Wow.
I'm very fine. Japoji, hi. How everybody? I hope you are
Hey,
all doing
oro kuderito karibu.
do. I'm very, very fine. Thank you very much. I didn't look at the interview because the, we are being taken in circles, if you can understand what I'm trying to say. And nobody is coming with a good, yani, the people in government, those who are in government and those who are not in government but find themselves in government with exceptions because of some contracts, like Raila, they're not coming with a point of good understanding. Wanakuja na their own understanding. Do we need a talk? No, not really. We only want the laws of Kenya to be followed. That's it. There is nothing more for the moment because Raila is just a person like you and me. That is what my understanding is. He is not a person in the politic or even in government as we speak. He has nothing that he can say or can initiate the doing of anything. We have seen that with the 10-point agenda. So him just saying that we need a talk, who are we talking with? With ourselves. We already know what we want as the people of Kenya. We know what the first thing is: the economy needs to work for everybody, not the people in government to overtake the economy as if it is theirs. That is the fact and the reality on the ground. And then on top of that, we need just people to be following the law. The people of Kenya are following the law, but those who are in government are not following the law. That's it. We start with that. Then we find a good government which is going to look at where the people are and where the people want to go, but not this government. This government does not give a damn. I have actually looked at everything that this government is doing, and nothing, and not even anybody wants to talk to the Gen Z in the point where they want to understand the reality and what is hitting them to go on the streets. Ruto is not stupid. He has not been in the government for the first time, so that we say that he knew he is a mono or something like that. No. He has always been in government. Since he finished, I don't know, he became the friend of Moi. But you see, you cannot tell such a person to change, yet he knows he is there on a trail. That means anachukua, alisema yeye mwenyewe, hata isi mimi, I don't need to even reiterate what he says. He said himself that he is there for a reason and he has a mission. So if a person has a mission, and the mission is that normally it's what you are being given by the people to do, but you are not doing what the people are asking you to do. You're doing what you want to do for yourself and the people that you want, because he's now surrounded with the oligarchy. You cannot even talk to this person. There is no law that's going to be changed with him. He is going to change law for himself. So the fact that already we are talking about conclave is not going to work. It's not going to work with this context, because the reality on the ground is that people wamefinyika and they do not have time to sit down at 40 people in each constituency. I'm like, what the? Do you know how many people we are? We are 55 million. 55 million, you just look at the constituency, how many are they? Then put 40 people, then add to it, and then say, we the people, we are going to pay again for us to sit down and talk about the reality on the ground. Seriously, there are things which do not make sense, because what is the need of the people of Kenya paying taxes to the government to have services which they do not have? And then on top of that, initiate themselves to pay for themselves another sum so that they can sit down and talk about the reality of what is going on and how to change Kenya. It will not
Derito,
work.
sorry to interject, Derito. I have a question for you, Derito. Do you think if we were to blame anyone for the handshake government, should we blame Raila or we blame Ruto for bringing Raila in? Whom would you blame if we were to blame someone? Thank you. Please continue.
Okay, when it comes to blaming, blaming will not solve a problem. Because my problem is not the people who are the personage, the people, Raila here and Ruto here. I have no problem with them talking, because it's not like they have never talked. These people talk behind the scene. My problem is, once you talk, once you are given a mandate, once you sign a contract, what comes forth from it? And up to this point, nothing has come from it. Anything. There's nothing from the point of Raila and from the point of Ruto. So at the end of the day, we are still in the same area where we were. The problem is just that Raila now is in government, or he's not in government, but he's receiving a good salary with the same people who are paying the taxes, which is us, and we have the same problems. So at the end of the day, let's look at the problem. Is the problem solved? Now, nobody is there to hakuna mtu anakuja na roho safi anasema ati wacha yenyewe nimeenda pale, I have to make this thing go through. Nothing. They are just in their own world doing their own things, and at the end of the day Kenyans are left on their own. And it's even with this conclave or enclave, it will still be the same problem. Thank you very much.
Ndiritu, if you can allow me to ask you a question, Ndiritu, were you ever in support of the Building Bridges initiative?
BBI.
No. BBI. No. I usually say, can I finish just 1 minute, because you cannot just. There are 22 reports that are taking what we call it, uchafu in the parliament. Okay, 22. These reports, people sat down. In these reports, there were pastors, there were members of parliament, there were people from the society, there were elders. 22. They are in the parliament. None of it, and they were paid. Actually, they were even paid. I can remember they were being paid a lot. There's the one which Ishungwa was in, and he was even complaining that the amount is small. So you imagine there are 22 reports, and none of them has been given to, even has come to mature. Nothing has been implemented. So what are you expecting that will come from a BBI thing? Nothing, absolutely nothing, because none of them are coming to Kenyans with good hearts that they are going to change anything for the Kenyans.
Thank you, Nderitu.
Okay,
As we bring in academia, sorry, co-host, I'm just leaving. As I bring in academia, I wanted to ask last question to Nderitu. Nderitu, why do you think it's so hard for the new president who comes in, to implement all those reports that you're talking about? Or how hard is it for the new president to take in the former president into account for whatever wrong he did? Why do you think it's so difficult? Thank you. As I bring in academia in 2 minutes.
All of them are, you know, once you are in a government which has stayed for quite a long time, like the ones we have, because we always renew, exchange the people in the parties. Mara Musalia yuko hapa, mara Musalia yuko pale, mara Ruto yuko hapa, Ruto yuko. So they have done things which I can tell you maybe they are very, very bad in terms of economy, one, and in terms of injustices, two. So even if you try as much as possible to make sure that there is a good person coming in, kuna mahali atashikiwa, because they are not clean. None of them are clean. That is where the problem is. So that is the reason as to why anybody who goes into government, as much as possible, you have to look at the person who has not stolen and the person who has never killed. We have to be very careful in form of to make sure that we follow the law. First, the foremost is to follow the law. Then afterwards, we're going to follow the other things, because Kenyans tumeibiwa mpaka imeisha. Hakuna kitu imebakia kwa hiyo inchi. Every time there's a government, they put the economy, the budget is exploding. You get to ask yourself, there is nothing that is showing with that budget. But where is the money going? That is the reason as to why anybody who's going there anaenda kuiba. And that is the mentality, even for the Gen Zs that we have right now who want to go to government. The older people on the ground, wanafikiria the same mentality is going to happen to them. And that is why you hear people telling them, how am I going to trust you that when you go there, you're not going to steal our money like the others who have stolen our money? So you see, tunaenda in circles again and again and again. And unless we cut that circle, there is no way we are going to save that country. Thank you very much.
Japonji.
Mutai, you can moderate. I'll be back like in 30 minutes, please. I think academia was
Okay.
next. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Academia, before you come in, I'll ask Nderitu so that you can enjoy that question. Nderitu, just yes or no, do you trust the IEBC?
As is, no, not yet. No.
Okay, thank you very much. Academia, good morning, good afternoon, good night. How are you doing today?
Yes. Seems like that is Mutai. How are you doing? I'm good.
It's really great to hear that you're fine. Did you watch the interview yesterday? Raila's interview?
How do you miss an icon in the entire universe? Like that would be felony. You do that, you
Well,
will be facing serious charges if you miss that
right.
interview. Yeah.
You do know that you're actually setting mood when you call him an icon. A lot of people in here will disagree about that.
No, the objective reality is what I'm basing my argument on. If you decide to or not support, but that is your prerogative, right? I won't force you, but the fact of the matter is an icon in the continent, not just in Kenya. Anyway, that is by the way. Now tell me.
Okay,
What do I need to
now that you
respond?
believe that he's an icon, Academia, now that you believe that he's an icon, do you feel that he's going to sway the Kenyan people into to agreeing with him that dialogue is good for the country and that we should have it?
You are actually making a lot of mistakes. You don't say that you believe. I'm stating statement of facts. It's not about belief. That's religion. Yeah. We are stating facts.
No. I
As the
think
guy
that you're
not being
actually
a former,
conflating two words here.
as the guy not being a prime minister. No, look, as the guy not have been a prime minister in Kenya.
He has been.
The right honorable. Now, once you are given the name, the title of the right honorable, it has just come. It's not for anybody. Very few people have that, like sir. So move on. Now, anyway, that for entertainment for now. Now, should I start with the topic, or you've exhausted the topic, so we move to other serious matters?
You can start with the topic.
Let me respond to your question that you'd ask. You have asked Nderitu. I trust IEBC. This IEBC, I trust them with the work. There are people there that are qualified. If you look at their qualification, you must say that they are qualified. And they are one of the best individuals in Kenya to be trusted by Kenyans to take the role of IEBC. There is no doubt. Otherwise, if you have doubt, it means we couldn't have them in the first place. So for me, I would trust IEBC. Now, moving forward.
No, but is this the same IBC where there is word everywhere that some monkey business was conducted to bring in people who are related to the powers that be, whether it's the president, whether it's Junet Mohammed or it's so on. So there's some relation of some sort. I know people will tell me, oh, yeah, that does not mean if you are related to somebody, you cannot work. You can work as a civil servant, but in offices that have had history of being manipulated and doubted, and have actually almost made our country completely collapse. IBC is the worst thing that I've ever seen in the universe, the Kenyan IBC. So when I hear that this IBC, we trust it, of course, they haven't proven to be like, but everything we have had in the past, of all the commissions, this is the thing that every single time has made us blood being spilled in this land all the time just because of the mistakes done by IBC. And right now, you play some games to us. so that you can bring in and swear people in. There's so much confusion. I mean, where do you
Justice
draw
for
your
all.
confidence from?
Justice for all. The process of having IEBC or just the commission in office, it is public. You know the procedure.
But there's nothing
There
public
was
about
no.
hiding some 6 names and adding them to the list when they were not there in the
So tell
beginning.
me,
How is that public?
no, those are hearsay because you must demonstrate with the evidence that actually this commissioner was introduced outside the guidelines. So, and we have courts. If you feel that was illegal, move to court, have it done in the court. You will get answered there.
Yeah,
But
but you see that,
as
that's how
far
we
as
destroy countries. That's how we destroy countries, especially Kenya. When you always hide behind this court, go to court, you get this. When we know perception matters, because but if we keep saying that if you are aggrieved, go to court, even you kill and you conceal evidence and they cannot be found, or you
but
compromise your way in. The point I'm making is that this IBC. Yes, we have had questionable things. If I were president and I have Nanok working in my office, the person who works for me when I was governor should not be the chair of the IBC. Like, how is that rocket science to
let
anybody?
me tell you, Justice, you are using a lot of energy. You will dehydrate for no reason.
I have it, and I'm prepared
You
when it
will,
comes to this
you
one.
will. Let me tell you, you will. Me, I follow procedure. I follow law. Reconstitution of IEBC. Just look, no, reconstitution of IEBC was conducted in a manner that is described and subscribed by the Constitution to the letter. If you have any legality as to the commissioners or what happened, I think there are some petitions that were taken to court. Unless you don't believe in the decision of the court. So I don't think what you're saying is factual. No, that's not true. And then there is nothing.
What I'm saying is
There
that
is
some
nothing.
things,
Just wait.
academia,
There
some
is
things matters
nothing.
are morality.
Just wait.
Morality
There
cannot be
is
decided by the courts.
just wait. You don't need to. Just wait. There is nothing under the law like perception. Law does not pay attention to perception. No, that is not true. That is political. So if you want to deal with political statements, then let's go to politics and find whether we will get answer using that political statement or not. But like your name, Justice for All, I think you, by going with that name, you should ensure that law is followed. So I'm worried. I'm just worried. Just wait. What you people you are interjecting for many things. I'm just worried if there is breach of the protocol in the manner that they were appointed from the beginning to the end. If there was a problem with the law, maybe the president skipped something, violated, maybe something like that, I will not support that. But as long as he followed the normal procedure, I don't think we can begin to ask who was put there, because this is a public institution and people applied publicly, people interviewed publicly, and look at the processes from 1, 2, 3, 4, then approved by the parliament. So all these processes, after all these are done, then you come and tell us that you had some people were introduced through the back door. You just had that apprehension is not something that factual. So we cannot use that to.
I'm gonna play for you the clip because that question was asked in Parliament of Kenya that was vetting these individuals. Academia, we are telling you things that were asked and answered. Even the relationship of these people.
Look. Whether answered,
please,
whether
don't
asked
say it's
or
hearsay.
answered. No, whether asked or answered, that is a problem. The problem is, do we have that particular individual? You should be telling me the individual commissioner so and so was introduced or picked outside the guidelines, we can never talk or a conversation like that. But if you are asking me, because this is a process that involves so many people, so somebody can just ask out of curiosity. But that does not mean if you ask me something, it is factual. No, it's just a question. You have to go ahead and demonstrate and substantiate your argument. So you cannot blame for people who ask the parliament. What I want to know, whether there are any commissioner introduced who did not go through the process, then we can have a talk from there. If there is any, I don't think they can sit in that office. That will be nullified. That commission will be thrown out. But if you are just talking of hearsays, then that is not for us.
The talk you're supposed to have is the same one you always tell us in this space as a senior person here contributing, that let us be sincere. The sincerity we have, and you are being insincere today, is that only the law is going to save Kenya. Because what has happened in the past is not a matter of the law. It's a matter of the immoral way that we try to circumvent the law so that we can get our way. And then we know
Correct.
we are going to hide by saying, oh, go to court.
Correct. I understand. Let me ask you, Justice. One, did the president follow the law in the appointment of the IEBC?
It
To
did.
begin
That's
with.
why this guy is there to be sworn twice, I think.
Correct.
In
Correct.
fact, even gazettement, yeah. It doesn't follow
Correct.
anything serious. Yeah.
Okay. So, did he follow the law or he did not follow the law? Because those people cannot be in the office outside the parameters of the procedure laid down. They cannot be in that office. We will remove them because that is unconstitutional. But now, once they are sworn in by the Chief Justice herself, that means the process was procedural, was lawful. So as to whether somebody was introduced through the back door, to me, I'm not going to answer that hearsay. That is perception. Okay, we understand perception is very key in this matter because these are public, they must build public trust. To that extent, I agree with you. But we don't have such. Those who are just allegations. So there is no evidence to support that. So leave that part alone. Now let us proceed whether Kenyans trust the IBC or not, because we have to have an IBC in place, Justice. So whether you don't like them or not, you cannot collect the entire country to sit down to decide who becomes the IEBC chairman. You can't have them. It is not that is impossible. So why do we always argue when the process is followed, or you have a problem with the individuals appointed to that office?
No, we have no problem with individuals. I don't know them. I don't
Yeah.
give so much care about individuals. The issue is they are qualified and they look good. But if you have a situation where lack of confidence in the IBC has led us to lose so many lives after every election because of how they have conducted it, number one, obviously, taking too much money that they don't need, but that's a different story. Then you, as academia, you are the president. The closest you can do is to try as much as possible not to put doubts in the mind of the citizens through the people that you appoint who seem to be closely related to those who are trying to consolidate power. I think it's something that you go sit down with yourself and say, what can I do? I know, yes, they are qualified. I know doing the right thing, but there's a country here to save. Instead of even introducing this discussion into the minds of the people, I want to bring people that are not affiliated to those people affiliated either to the state house, to the politicians, and things like those. Like, what I'm asking here is that I'm not questioning the legality here now. I'm questioning when people question the handshakes, I just keep and laugh. These are not legal things, but these are things that you ask yourself, what can I do to save the country? And we have seen it happen in many countries, in many places, whether whether it's in Africa or otherwise. So for me, what I ask is that if we are only going to say, but because of legality and all that's the only parameter we are going to use, then we continue losing the country.
So
Okay.
just so that we don't make it a podcast now, let me just ask you, Chief Justice.
Yeah. And then Mutai come in.
So the problem is the IEBC chairperson or chairman in this case, as a man, being perceived to be close associate with the State House controller, the former governor of Turkana, Nanok Josephat. So that's the contentious issue there.
That's one contention. That's one contention. One big contention.
Okay. So that's the only thing that you're worried about.
No, there's an in-law to Junet Mohammed, who is now the biggest cow for Ruto.
Oh, okay, okay.
Probably
okay, okay.
That there is. I mean, I don't. You make your submission, because now I'm getting personal on this, because I'm struggling to see why you can't see it. Maybe I'm the one who's not seeing it. So I'll let you submit.
I'm not dealing with the moral issue here, because IEBC is a constitutional body. So if we bring moral things, we lose the aspect of the bigger picture. So we have to ensure that that constitutional body
conflict of interest is a conflict of interest is a legal issue. It's not only a moral issue.
Which is true, but in this case it does not apply. Because the person, Nanok, is not running for any office. And if that is the case, then Ruto is the number one civil servant as the head of state. He can have influence over anybody within the Republic of Kenya if he chooses to do so. That's a fact. If he chooses to get you justice, if you are in this space today and you are in Kenya, he can make that request and you can be apprehended or just be taken to him because of the power he has. So if that is the case, then anybody that will be elected there, the president can influence them or can influence that person because he has the power and he has the resources, and that power favors him in many parameters. So I don't think that is a big issue to me, because many times all these people are we have made that process to be political. So you expect the interest to take center stage. Anytime you are dealing with a political question, the first thing you look at in the interest of the interested party who are involved in that case. So we need to remove it away from the politicians, because president is elected through by the people. The office is a politician, by the way. So if you want an IEBC devoid of any political affiliation, you have to do that amendment to remove the process of appointing IEBC not to be in the hands of politicians. That one we can now talk. But the moment that it is almost 3/4 of the process is controlled by politicians, then you have no choice but to accept, because law gives them that mandate to do so. So to me, that's what I would suggest. You know, you people, you've interjected me. Let me just stop there for now so that people can talk. I will come and you ask me something different from the IEBC, then we proceed from there.
Thank you very much, Academia. Although you have really taken us round around these issues, you speak that if we have an issue with a certain process, then we must take it to the court. But remember that it is the same court that tells you get over it, or it tells you, that was hot air. It is not the kind of language that I think court should be using when it comes to perception. And I know there is the legal perception and there is the perception by the people. And I feel that that is what Justice was trying to bring to your attention. But then every other time you're trying to, just play around with his statement. Anyway, apart from that, academia, as much as you've taken your break, when you come back, I wish to ask you very many more. And I would also wish to maybe have you, before you go, have you tell me something. Do you believe that a person's tribe can actually play a role in influencing their support in any kind of policy? And also ethics.
Let me come back
Academia.
after this. They have been waiting for. So allow me to come after these two people. It will be okay.
Okay, sure. Okay,
Yes.
sure. Ambassador of Truth. Hello, Kamondo. How are you? Ambassador? Looks like Ambassador is not around. So I'll have Ndirito come in. Ndirito, do you wish to maybe rebut or add something on what Academia said?
Yes. Academia actually, at the end of the day, at the end of what he says, it's the reality. We have just to change the system whereby the president at the end is devoided to to choose anybody in the IBC. It should be a system whereby the people themselves can go and ask like a job. You go ask for a contract, and you are chosen because it has nothing to do with the presidency. The problem now lies when it comes to judiciary, where I asked Paul Muite how the judiciary can also be devoided from being chosen or being influenced by the political. And the problem in there is money, because if they had their own treasury whereby they can be given money without passing through the presidency. Now, you see, these are things that we can say we would have talked in the talk which Raila is suggesting. But now, if the people who are going to come to talk to us, or who are going to deal with the problems that we are seeing being portrayed and being influencing the political sphere, are the same people who are going to ask us to talk, it's going to be a very bad issue. Because now the judiciary, they are being influenced because of the money. You see, now, because if they want a budget which can work for everybody, they wananyimwa. So they have to go back and beg the same politician who are going to talk in the parliamentary, who are going to give it to it goes around and round. And it's like every system that we have in the country which is supposed to defend the people of Kenya is surrounded, but not even surrounded. It's being controlled by one person who is in the middle. So this is the issues where we are supposed to get rid of. We are supposed to clean them out, because once they are cleaned, we see now the system working for us, not for them. But them, they are just administrators. Now, then we are going to talk about it. But when it comes to the IBC, as we speak right now, I have issues with them. Not the people who have been selected, but the process itself, because we have there are people who have been working the whole year and they have been being paid the whole year, yet we still have the problem with the IDs, the voters cards, and also other issues which normally they are not supposed to be up to this point. Even the way Kindiki was being sworn in, he had to be cleared by somebody. Normally, he was supposed to be cleared by the chairman of the IBC or the chairwoman of the IBC. But you see, now it was cleared by the secretary. So there are issues that we need to deal with when it comes to the IBC. So I'll leave it to that. Thank you.
And Ndiritu, you have actually raised an important thing when it comes to financial autonomy of the different arms of government. But you do understand that even when it comes to countries with evolved democracies, the president enjoys the benefits of appointing even the Supreme Court judges, right?
True, but mostly in Africa. Not every country is doing that because, like I said, we have people who in Africa, the ruling party, which does not care about the people. That is where we have a problem. They are not centering themselves to the people. They are centering themselves to the riches. And that is where we go wrong every time. In spite of all the laws, in spite of all the mechanism that we put in place, we have people who do not love their country as much as the people themselves. So that is where we are going wrong.
Okay. The point that I just wanted to pass across is it might be true that this kind of presidential appointments also makes people want to do whatever the president has said. But in truth, if you look at the JD, it states that they have to be dependent of the president or the political power that is in place. And when it comes to the rule of law, just as you had said earlier on, that if everyone could just follow what they're supposed to be doing, if everyone could just fall in line and use the law as a guide or as a basis, then everything would be okay. I myself, I do not dispute presidential appointments. I believe that the president should be able to enjoy the benefits that comes with being elected as a president, because you see, the presidency is a political space, and you, as a president, you would want a team that that aligns with a team that believes in your ideologies, that believes in your agendas, and you would want to work with them as much as they are of different arms.
Now there is where you are going wrong, because even in a company, it's not the president who actually takes care of the people who are coming inside the company. That means there is a HR. The HR has to know what is needed in the company. And now, from there on, the HR will be looking at the persons that are coming to the interview with a different eye view. That means with specific intention. But that is where we are going wrong, even with the presidency, because the
Are we trying
presidency,
to address the issue of the
but we do have
commissioner?
the parliament playing the role of the HR.
which has been taken in by the presidency. So at the end of the day, we are in the wrong.
Yeah, it's a bad way of doing business. Yeah, I want us to advance today. I think, Mutai and Japonji, I think today I want to end this early, probably in about 19 minutes or so, 20 minutes, because I think I got a call that just came in that I need to be somewhere by 3, by 10. So yeah, so let's if you guys don't mind, if you can bring in last man standing. There's one other subtopic I wanted us to address about 2027 predictions, but if we don't find time, that's fine. Last man standing. Karibu to this conversation. We are here almost every day and trying to restructure this to have a political conversation that look into the temperature of the country, what is making the headlines, and what is influencing people's decisions as we proceed. So, Karibu sana.
Yeah, thank you so much, Justice Fall, and all in the panel. So mine was just simple as I was passing by and I realized that you guys are holding this space, and I saw it is nice for me at least to come and say something, whereby I've been following what has been going on in our country, and I just get sick because I can't really fathom what are these people. What do they need? Do we need to have loudspeakers, or we need to have AI to communicate the message to these people? We don't need any dialogue, guys. Let's be true. We just need systems to work. It's as simple as that. If the economy is doing fine, no one will go to protest. If the law is followed, no one will go to the streets. So the ideas of someone coming and talking to us, telling us we need a conclave for intergenerations, how will it help us? The thing is, these people, they just want to buy time to make us forget what we are demanding for. We are demanding for good governance. We are demanding for, following the rule of law, like what you talking about right now about IEBC, judiciary, all these things started in 2012 when the ICC suspects, Uhuru and Ruto, came into power. And we know very well their cases ended because most of the suspects were eliminated. And lawlessness started from that particular point. We had a good leader by the name of Kibaki. We never had all this nonsense when Kibaki was ruling. Actually, it is that other guy who I don't even want to mention his name here because I just feel is a big letdown after I've been supporting this dude for a very long time, thinking that he is really the messiah of the country, but just to realize that he has been playing games. And I really apologize to the people of Kenya. People used to call us cows by supporting that one guy from the lakeside. And I was like, you guys, this is demeaning. There was a time, those who voted for the other guy now, who is ruling us, they told us, we voted for that guy because we never had an alternative. And I'm glad that the political scenario in Kenya is changing now, where we are now discussing issue-based politics. It is not about where you're coming from. It's not about who you are. It's not about how much money do you have. You've seen those who have shown interest. Some are telling you that I will maybe just have a million, then the rest, you people can support it. If you believe in what I'm saying, if you believe in what you want me to do for you. So let's move away from following people blindly and their views. Some people we know very well, they don't have anything that they are doing, like that broad-based government. Some offices, what is Mudavadi doing? What is that other office of which was supposed to be?
But Mudavadi is the foreign and diaspora, whatever affairs cabinet secretary.
Okay, what achievement has he done? We need to see things at the. That's why you remember just this week, is it last week, we were seeing a lot of people praising Ababu Namwamba. Okay, Ababu did good, but there was some issues like when he was taking, taking these the likes of is it Aziad to Dubai, and not prioritizing those people who matters, like the runners, the the athletes. But at least we can see what he did. What is Mudavadi doing? What difference do we? What is the difference before he came in and after? So let's stop all these. These people, they need to stop wasting our resources further. They have wasted a lot because a lot of, like 1 million are coming into the market, joblessness market every year. So where will these people be absorbed? They're talking of taking people outside countries. Like now, if you've gone through the news, UAE, it's not allowing visitors from Kenya under 40 years. What does that mean? Young people used to go to UAE, then tarmac there. But now the government wants to control that because that directive, actually, the president himself is the one who said that a lot of people are going to countries like UAE without working visas. Yet the jobs that the jobs that they were providing, like Qatar jobs, you could see what Alfred Mutua was telling us, that some people are going there, they are sick, some people, I don't know. Now they want to control everything. And the thing is, they just want to make sure these youth, they remain jobless, they frustrate them, charging them with are we going to talk?
Mhm.
You're
Yeah, I know.
pressing
As
my
we
neck,
advance from the
then
talking,
you're telling me on a
but
round table.
now, yeah, but now people are moving to 2027. One of the issues that we have been addressing is that you think that people are talking about issues. People have always talked about issues as long as I've been an adult and of voting age from 1997 when I started being part of the voting age up to now. We've talked about issues. What happens when you get to the voting itself? We don't vote about those issues. We vote about, we talk about, we go to the regions and the bloc and of course the tribes and who is winning. I don't think there is any demonstration yet to show that people have shifted their mindset from voting according to their tribe and their kingpins, and now they're going to vote according to issues.
Actually, what I can say is we had moved like 2 steps forward on that particular issue. But again, these people, they have used all they can in their what they can because they have money. They have tried to use that to divide us. And that's why you see recently they gifted one pastor from Ukambani with a Land Cruiser. Why was it that way? To divide and rule. They just want to divide and rule. The pressure was mounting, and that's why you can see it was a movement whereby we did not we did not identify you by where you're coming from. We did not identify you by what you speak, how you, what is your language, what is your age, where are you from. So they have this, they're trying to dilute that, but
no, they're not diluting. Let's go back to the last elections. What they're doing here, they are still building new class. There's a building class. The classism has been one of the dangers, especially when it comes to politics. And what we are dealing with, especially in Kenya, we vote for you if our kingpin is up there. In the last election, predominantly we had to let's get the votes from Wamnyoro, let's get the votes from Ruto, let's get the votes from Baba Waroma, and then from there you win. And then we go to the next election, we say, okay, let's get the votes maybe hoping from Ukambani and then get the votes from somewhere else. I mean, this has been repeat. It's a cycle after cycle. The whole point of putting the church and of course investing in the richest folk in terms of those gifts and bribes, it's another new phenomenon that we used significantly in 2022, and it's going to play a role in 2027. I mean, those are not the issues. The people voted because the other one was a Christian born again, and I suppose how is that an issue of governance?
Yeah, actually, yeah, it is an issue, but I was trying to explain to you that we are really moving away from that. That's why at the moment you will see these young people. You saw a clip of one young lady who decided to ban a Bible. Did you see that?
I haven't seen it. It would be unfortunate for me if I saw that, but I haven't seen it. But
Okay. The young people,
I'm already sad to hear that.
The young people, what they're saying, we did not leave God. We left the church, but we did not leave God. People from Central, the young people from Central, you will not hear them subscribing to these ideas of Wamnyoro. They'll be like, we want to drain the swamp. So that's why we are trying now to do what we call, we have to educate those people. We get them the civic education, those people in the villages. And what the young people are saying now, it is if those people in the village, our mothers and our grandmothers, if in 2027, if we reach 2027, because most of us actually, we don't even want to reach that 2027. We are saying half term. That's why we don't want to subscribe to anything about Wamnyoro, about any politician. all of them are the same. You can see what they are trying to push us into now. In 2007, people fought. It was really bad. The issue of Mungiki is resurfacing right now, and you know very well what these people cost. So the young people and the movement, and that's why if it is, we cannot say it is also classes and whatever, because it was a Gen Z. But now the Gen Z, it is not only Gen Z, but it is Gen Zote. Gen Zote means even if you're an alpha, if you are boomer, provided your mind is not colonized by those ideas that these politicians had, the like of Raila, the like of Kalonzo, all those people. So we want to forge forward whereby we just need good governance. We need constitutionalism. Lastly, I'll say this. These young people, they used not to, they did not concentrate with politics. They never bothered. But now they are awoke. A lot of people, even some, I've been speaking with a lot of people, everyone is awake. And what people are saying is, for example, a member of parliament has this bursary, yeah? MCA has a bursary, president, whatever. Why don't you bring all that money to one kitty, make quality free primary, free secondary, and free tertiary education? Why is it that Kindiki and the group are moving with the empowerment, whatever? And they told us they found empty coffers. Why don't they bring that money and put in one kitty, save this economy of our country? What
Appreciate it.
mind?
Thank you. I want you to land in a minute.
Do they have any brain? I really don't understand. What is the problem with Kenyan politicians?
It's about leadership and governance, and I appreciate it. All right, I'm going to start having people give their final submission. Stay in there with us, last man standing. I want to have people make their final submissions, but these ones are going to be extremely, a little bit challenging because I'm asking very direct questions that might make some of you uncomfortable. All right, question number 1. I'm asking, and I'll start from whoever has a mic. I'll ask, for William Ruto to win, does he pick Mudavadi as the running mate, Kindiki, Sabina Chege, or Gladys Wanga? Let's start with just pick one of the combinations. Motai, what do you think?
He will pick none of them.
None of them. All right. Academia. Oh, Jimmy's gone to bed. Hannah.
I don't care. Why should I care?
That's fine. That's your answer. I'll move on. Last man standing.
So that one is the final submission.
No, I have a final. I have 2 more questions.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just doing a simple survey here. Last man standing.
I'm really sorry I cannot participate in that. So unfortunate.
Thank you. Second question. Second phase is if Kalonzo runs for president, who does he pick as the running mate? Fred Matiang'i, George Natembea, or Eugene Wamalo? Motai?
Natembea.
Natembea. Olwande?
Answer those questions because I don't know.
That's fine. Academia? I'm a professor, so if you don't want to answer the question, I proceed. Don't feel bad, by the way. It's not a mandatory. The other one is none of the above. So those who are saying none of the above, it's okay. So don't think it's academia. Name is left. Hannah.
I don't give a shit.
Please don't use that language. Yeah, we try to avoid that as much as we can. Last man, do you try that?
I can't, and I will support my answer. I'll support why I'm saying this. I'm
No,
subscribing.
that's fine. That's fine. No, we're coming to final submission.
Okay,
Just
sure.
all off on that. And then a final question. It's on who does, and this is open minded. Probably open answer, really not minded. Mutai, if Maraga were to run, who does he pick as running mate to win? Not who does he pick to win, in your opinion?
Not very specific, but I'll just state the age that he would pick someone of around at least 45 years and below.
Olwande?
Okay, I'm fronting my person, Faith Odhiambo of LSK.
Faith Odhiambo. Okay. Olwande?
Pass.
Academia? Academia is sleeping. Derito?
Pass.
Last man standing?
Yeah, anyone can fit in there, provided they're subscribing to what.
Oh gosh, you guys don't follow instructions. I get so excited. I'm just asking a simple question. You get time to talk.
Yeah.
Okay, final one.
I'm sorry to say this. We are living. It's like we are
I'll
programmed.
give you time to talk. You can pass. You get time to talk. Each one of you is gonna get 2 minutes to submit.
Pass.
Final one. Okay. So final one. This is the no. Final one. Omtata. Who does he pick? Mutai? And again, if you all wanna pass, it's fine.
Omtata would probably work well with let me try to remember the name. It's trying to come.
Okay. Luande, you participating in that? No? Oh, and probably not. Academia still sleeping?
Justice,
Give me some my question, but I'll
unasemaje?
send them to you because I have them written down. I'm collecting some data here for some.
Unasemaje, Justice?
Oh gosh, you missed 4 questions. I'm on the last one. If Omtata
You
were
ask.
to run, who does he pick as the running mate?
Omtata.
Mhm.
Omtata. You give me the people because
Okay,
Omtata
if I give you
himself,
the
I
people,
don't know whether he's going to run or not.
I have to ask the
If
first
you
3 questions quickly. Give me the first 3 questions. William Ruto, who does he win with? Musalia, Kindiki, Sabina, Wanga.
it is between Musalia and Wanga. What I would go with Musalia. Kindiki
Musalia.
out, Chege out.
That's fine. Okay, Musalia there. And then the next one was Kalonzo. Who does he win with? Matiang'i, Natembea, and Wamalo.
Actually, Kalonzo has many options. Matiang'i is there.
No, give me one. I'm just speaking. It's a survey.
No,
It's a survey.
no, Ngoja. I'm not a yes or no person. Yes
Okay,
or...
that's what I've been trying to stop everybody
just wait,
from doing.
just wait, because
you'll speak. Okay, give me one answer.
What you've given me many names. I cannot just pick
3.
so and so because I have to look at the value. Natembea.
Natembea.
Okay. I have to analyze them before I pick on one. How do I just pick on one without analyzing?
I will get to that. Let me ask you the third question. Who does Maraga do you think can win with? That's an open question.
I don't know who is running that Maraga can pick for now. Apart
Okay,
from those
mentioned. All right, so I'm gonna give everybody 2 minutes so that we can do our closing in the interest of time until the time we meet again. I appreciate you being part of our conversation today.
Who is taking? Who are you taking that thing for? Which
No,
company?
I'm trying to build a team, and I think that will be unveiling it soon. That we'll be conducting opinion polls for every team, not affiliated to anybody, not related to anybody. So I'm working just
Okay.
it's gonna be, yes, yeah. And you've been seeing me do like a few polling here and there, and it's more of trying to assess the where we are and all that. That's why it's difficult to have explanations, because then you get a skewed kind of results. And I've been a pollster before, so I have to clarify that so that the instructions are clear. All right, so let's give our final submission. Olwanda, you had it submitted. Thank you for joining. If it's a last minute, if you can share your thoughts on the subject, and then so it's gonna be one submission today, and then we proceed. Olwanda. Yeah, Olwanda, can you hear us?
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Karibu. Proceed, please. Oh man. Okay, let's go to the last man standing.
Can you hear me?
Final submission. Yes, we can, but you are muted if you are speaking.
Okay, I'm so sorry. So I was just listening and I heard people saying like right now people know what they want, and I beg to disagree, because the analysis that I'm seeing based on people's arguments, I don't think people really know what they want as per now. And people want to like cling to leaders who have really messed up this country. And I think tribalism is still playing a heavy effect, even if we want to live in denial, but that is the truth. And in fact, I could see it from the video I shot today, I think on TikTok. I could see even the comments, I could see how people are reasoning in terms of when it comes to politics. They're still looking at it based on wherever they are coming from, be it Luos, Kikuyus, and etc. So I think it is our responsibility also to highlight that, and also maybe talk to people at our capacity to change their minds. Thank you.
Mutai.
Sorry, I'll go to last man standing. Proceed.
Yeah, thank you. So mine is that we need to emancipate ourselves from this mental slavery. And going forward, we will forge forward. We just need to see how we can return this country back to track. Then we will amend all those other stuff, because we still think that the system that we are using, even the constitution that we have, it's the most powerful constitution, but useless because it's not assisting us in anything. We need to follow law. And let's avoid this issue of like the questions that the question that you are asking. It's just the same question that these mainstream media, they like giving us choices. That's why we find ourselves without more options. Like last time we had the like of Raila and Ruto. Raila and Fulani. You know, we have a lot of leaders that they are good out there, not necessarily these political class that have been there. People like Francis Atwoli and all these people, you know them, they have been there. We have 56 million Kenyans. Even for you, Justice, I think maybe you can be a very good leader, but because we are just boxed, it's programmed based. We don't want that. We want a Kenya that is working. Let everyone know. Every person needs to know this. We just need a working system. Rule of law. You see, judiciary and executive, you cannot differentiate, because someone was talking about judiciary. They are going to beg for money so that they can go forward. We had Vision 2030. Other countries like China now, they're talking of Vision 2080. Our Vision 2030, we could have at least upgraded it now to Vision 2050 or Vision 2060. But Uhuru tried. What is Ruto doing? We just need that, the footprint. We don't need all these other ulabalus. Everything is in the constitution, how you're supposed to run the country. The Vision 2030, it is there. If you want to develop a road like expand Mombasa Road, Mombasa to Busia Road, it is there. The funds, where will the funds come from? It is there. So let's just do that. Let's leave
Appreciate
this political thing.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Derita.
Thank you. Mimi ile kitu nitasema ni ati every 10 years we have to look at the law, we have to look at our constitution. We have to remove all things which are not important to us and replace them with things which really, really do matter as per every 10 years. The thing about Vision 2030, it's very sad that we can't even follow something very small like that one. Yet we want to be first world. How can we be first world? Yet we are unable to even finish up the work that was left to us by somebody who was not very good, but at least had somewhat of a vision. So hii mambo ya kuletewa sijui CBC from Europe, and then we have another thing now, everything is just being brought in the country by other countries because we are so in debt, and we have to stop it, and we have to really look at ourselves, and not by talking about the conclave, by sitting down and making issues to be real and solving them one by one. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Talking much.
No worries. Thank you very much. Academy?
Hey, Justice Mutai to ask me something. I don't know, but now the lineup is out. I saw some lineup there with Kalonzo and all and that. I wish them well. Let them just be, and Matiang'i and all that. So you will have to choose your side. If you are Munyoro, if you are Ruto, you decide. The battle line has been drawn. It is now do or die.
Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Mutai, and thank you for co-hosting. Kariba?
Asante sana, Justice. My parting shot is just to say that I think we're a bit delusional. Most of the things here we've said, they are very theoretical, not pragmatic, even the suggestions that most of you have made. And being a Gen Z, I would love to say that if you look at the statistics, the aggregated statistics of the DCP party, if they were courageous enough to publish them, you'd be shocked that a huge percentage of the registered people or members are actually the Gen Zs. And it hurts me to say that when I hear someone say that we have beaten the tribal lines, I feel that it's being delusional. It's incorrect. Yes, we are trying to, but some people are still dragging us down. I'd also love to just my parting shot is to say these people may take away our everything. They may take away our wealth, our pride, but they will never take away who we are. So to change this world, to change this beloved country, then we must stand firm with what we believe in, what we ourselves know is the truth. And as we speak truth to power, let us also speak truth to ourselves. I'd just love to echo what Barack Muluka said today on Spice FM, that as we advocate for dialogue, we must advocate for a dialogue with our souls first, with our own inner self, before we want to dialogue with other people, so that we can have something fruitful. Thank you very much, Justice. And hello, everyone. Let's keep connecting.
Thank you very much, Mutai. And I also want to appreciate all of you for creating time to be with us here today on our conversation on justice for all. We will continue building on this as we have a conversation. This is a purely political space that we analyze the current affairs, historical perspectives, and also make predictions of the future. We try to tie the past, look at the present, and of course, where we are heading to. And of course, as you know, those of you who have been in the political landscape for a while, you understand that things keep shifting on a daily basis. I know, having been an official conducting the polls in outside the country for probably the last 5 elections, I have learned quite a bit, even when mobilizing, going out there to campaign and mobilize resources and all that. And I can tell you, sometimes we sit down and listen, and you say that, are we being naive, or are we being realistic, or maybe optimistic without strategy? What I would encourage is that as you all work together to make Kenya a better place, let's be very intentional in the way that we are addressing these issues. But I know together we can make Kenya a better place. But we have to start by making ourselves better. That's why one by one, we become a big community. I wish you a very good night. God bless you. And I'll see you tomorrow. Good night. in brief, and possibly we'll have so much to look into come Friday, kwa sababu a lot has happened. Thank you very much. Good night, take care, and this is Mizani 254, where the scales of balance are restored and meaningful conversations thrive. Good night.